wage be raised to $15. We have Tristan Sparks, who is for it, and then we have two people who are against Tristan, Santino and Deshawn. So we're going to have Santino go first with his debate against.
Raising minimum wage would have an adverse effect on the economy. It would result in job loss. A 2006 review of more than 100 minimum wage studies by David Newmark found that about 2/3 it was a negative effect in employment. Also, it would hurt low-skilled workers. A 2012 analysis found with a wage increase from $5.15 an hour to $6.75 per hour in New York State found a 21.8% reduction in the employment of younger and less educated individuals. Also, it may result in high prices for consumers. A 2013 Wilson review noted a 2004 review more than 20 minimum wage studies looking at the price effects found that a 10% increase in the U.S. minimum wage raises food and restaurant prices by up to 5%.
Hard work leads to success. So I have poverty. We're supposed to be equal, and what are we doing to change that? We're not doing much of anything. There are single parents with low wage that can't take care of kids, which leads to violence like abortion, suicide, and so on. Certain states have higher wages, like Washington, D.C. is $10.50. And what's really there? There's president, politicians. They don't do anything. They just talk. They make $174,000 a year. That's $476 a day. And assistants make $59,000 a year, $161 a day. When if we had $15 minimum wage, we would have $43,000 a year and $15 an hour. And the average person gets about $38 a day. 8 hours is like $21,000 a year. And these are hard-working jobs like fast food, nursing assistants, construction, and so on. And now we have older workers that are just working at minimum wage stores like Walmart and Apple. They want to retire, but they can't because they have to rely on savings and Social Security. But they start to lose the ability to work, so they can't make more money. And they're making less than $10K, which leads to 50% more likely for suicide. You said that a lot of people are getting laid off, but we're already getting laid off because of the low.
I personally think minimum wage should not be raised because minimum wage goes to $15 an hour. Producers and owners will raise prices to things that you need to survive. So if you get paid $15 an hour and the price of food and oil rise, then there was really no point of raising minimum wage. Because if you think about it, if you get paid more, then they would take more taxes. So then that's less right there, and then you have to pay more for oil or food and things that you need to survive. So unemployment will rise also because now that the owners will have to pay the workers more, they will want more educated workers. So they would probably cut some of the less educated workers from their work. And $15 an hour would also, like, if you get paid $15 an hour, then I would probably, like, there would really be no reason for government funded programs.
You said about having education and getting jobs, but not everyone who has an education gets a job. They have to work for it. They have to go to companies and try out, and they don't always make it, but sometimes people do. And people who don't have an education sometimes make it too. You say that prices will rise, which is inflation, but that leads to more circulation. so it's not too bad.
Well, you said that poverty and people getting jobs and only getting paid whatever minimum wage is, but these jobs aren't made to, like, they're not made to support a family or yourself for the rest of your life, minimum wage jobs. They really aren't. These lowest paid workers, it's just to afford their basic needs. It's not for a family or to live on for the rest of their life.
They don't really have anything else to go off of. That's all they can really do with where they live and what they're making. They don't have much of a choice.
Well, they could have done better in their school and went to college, so everybody has a chance and choice. So they could. It's used for, like, if you go to college and you need money at the time. That's what these jobs are for. They're not for to support your family or yourself for the rest of your life.
Be abolished. Sarah is for it, and she's up against Nevin. Go ahead, Sarah.
Imagine yourself on death row for something you're completely innocent of. 1 in every 25 inmates on death row are innocent of the crimes they would be put to death for. There are currently 3,035 inmates on death row. That means 120 innocent people will be put to death for something they are innocent of. The death penalty trials are 20 times more expensive than trials seeking a sentence of prison without parole. The average cost of a death penalty trial is around $2.4 million. It costs more money for someone who could be innocent to be put to death, which is why the death penalty should be abolished.
You ever had somebody in your family be murdered and they get life and they just get free housing, food, and everything else, but we gotta pay for it? Well, if we put them to death, it'll be cheaper than putting them in life around here.
What's your statistic that it's cheaper to have them on death row for life?
More.
It costs $3 million.
The trial alone.
It costs $85,000 a year. So if somebody was convicted at the age of 36 and got life and died at 80, it cost the jail $3 million, almost $4 million.
Go ahead, tell him.
$2.4 million just for the trial.
For the antidote and everything else to put them to death, it's only $1 million. So
Yeah, that's $3.4 million that they would be spending.
it's cheaper to put them to death because it's a lot more than that, just to keep them in life.
Okay, I'm done
No.
here.
She's telling you, how much does it cost for the trial?
$2.4 million.
So whether
just
you're-
for them to say.
For both people, whether you're put in jail for the rest of your life or you're put on death row, it still costs $2.4 million for each person. To house someone in prison for the rest of their life, what does that cost versus putting them to death?
It cost them almost $4 million just to keep them in prison.
Where did you get that from?
Deathpenalty.org.
Your numbers still aren't adding up right to me.
He said from age 36 to 80 for the life in prison, it costs $4 million. That adds up.
But this is for one trial though.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
For one trial,
Um,
it's $1.2 million.
No, it's $2.4 million. Yeah.
That's a lot of money for just one trial and one person.
That's just for them to be said.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even like
That's the same
the
thing
legal
as one
injection.
person
Yeah.
sitting in jail.
Right.
I found a statistic though that said, I don't know how accurate it was, but it had said that it was only $4 million to put someone to death and $54 million to keep people on life without parole.
I don't know. You guys done? The first debate topic that is going to happen today is, should abortion be legal? We have Dylan for it, and we have Jacob and Hannah against. Jacob, you're up.
I believe abortion should be illegal for a several reasons. Like for example, what's my opinion was one of the strongest opinions is the fetus has done nothing to be killed. It has committed no crime, and there was a chance that it could have grown up and did something great for everybody. It could have been president of a country or whatever. And another reason is it used to be illegal, but Dr. Woe decided, who is a male, decided there's nothing wrong with it, and it's just okay with killing another human being. Another reason it should be illegal is women who get abortions have a 154% risk of suicide. It will increase the chances of breast cancer, and it increases the chance in case they want to have a baby later, they can't because it increases the chance of miscarriage. Should I read all the cards?
Right up in here.
I have more, but
Present all your stuff and then
I,
talk about it.
it reduces the adoption, which could be higher, and it should be higher, but because there are a ton of families out there who want to have children but can't. But when you get an abortion, it takes away that family's chance of ever having one. In 2002, 2.6 million, which is 14% of American women wanted to adopt, but there was enough for 1%. And fetuses, although despite what people may tell you, fetuses, they actually can feel pain and will scream the entire time the abortion is in process. And there are some alternatives, which is fostering, adoption, and keeping the baby. Now, I'm going to mention this too. I have seen a video, so I can't play it, for obvious reasons. I've seen a video of an aborted fetus, and the nurses and doctors, they were poking at it, and it was fidgeting and screaming because it was in pain. So if you think you can do that to a child, that's up to you. But I think it's wrong.
You have a question?
Oh, wait, can I answer that question? Okay.
What kind of?
No questions.
I feel abortion should be legal because of the amount of children that go unadopted yearly. There's 415,129 foster children in America. 22,000 of them children grow out of foster care. And then the stem cell research, which the stem cells are universal cells that can be transferred to any part of the body and become another cell. If you transfer it to a part of the spleen or something like that, a paralyzed victim there is a chance that he could walk again. And then the amount of death that is caused from birth, there's 600 some women who die each year from giving birth, roughly.
In 1973, a bill was passed in the United States called Roe v. Wade. which legalized abortion. Some would argue that it made the abortion process safer. Others would argue that it made abortion a matter of convenience without respecting the rights of the baby. But no one can deny the outstanding number of abortions performed per year, 1.22 million. When you have an abortion, you are killing a human being. By 6 weeks, a fetus develops a heartbeat, and by 20 weeks, they are able to feel pain. In the first trimester alone, a fetus develops its nervous system, brain, heartbeat, and will successfully form all of its organs. If you don't have the finances to take care of a baby, you can give it up for adoption. Abortion can cost anywhere from $300 to $1,500, depending on the trimester. While adoption is 100% free because the people who adopt your child pay for the medical and the child care. Not including rape, if you have sex, you should expect to get pregnant. Nearly half of all abortions are a result of a lack of contraceptive methods. 18% of abortions are by teens because of the lack of protection or knowledge. 83% are unmarried women, and 93% are performed because of social reasons, as in the baby is unwanted or inconvenient. As quoted by womenissues.about.com, for women who demand complete control of their body, control should be preventing the risk of unwanted pregnancy through the responsible use of contraception, or if not possible, through abstinence.
Do either of you have questions for each other?
So you say that a big thing is people say that sexual assault or incest, but studies have shown that less than 1% of abortions occur because of rape or incest. So that's not necessarily, for most abortions, it's not the case.
Do you have anything to say back to them? Do you have a question for them at all? No? Do you have any questions, Jacob?
No.